Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses, all the king's men said, fuck him, he's just an egg. We don't do any long intros. I'm Heel Harry. This is Big Tyson. Let's get into the show. It's starting now. And you said you didn't watch NXT, did you?
I did not watch NXT.
Well, I gotta say, let's just do it real quick. Joe Gacy's dead to me. Fuck him. Thank God the Rock's daughter didn't wrestle. Rollins accepted Braun Breaker's challenge. And then in the same week, Braun Breaker and the Ila Dragunov, they looks like they're going into a program. So I don't understand why Breaker and is trying to fight two guys at once. Doesn't make sense to me. But fuck it. It's going to
Well,
Raw. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, isn't there something about Dragunov? He just want to, because I know they're doing like a Gold Rush thing where they're getting title matches. Seth Rollins' title is defending this coming week. The week after that, the NXT title's being defended. I know Dragunov won. Oh no, did Baron Corbin win? Baron Corbin won, so never mind.
Yeah.
Weird.
But Rollins and Breaker are wrestling at Gold Rush.
Yeah, so I was saying, I thought that was the tie-in because Dragunov is wrestling.
No, what happened was that Corbin came and he talked about how awesome he was and how nobody can lace his boots in the back. And then Eli Dragunov came out and he said, I am Eli Dragunov. I just got my ass whipped by the other guy that has a similar sounding name to me. And then he walks out and then Braun Breaker attacked him. And I guess he attacked him again.
Oh.
So I don't know.
I don't know, but I will say for NXT, for better or worse, a positive about the show is they have storylines from top to bottom. Like everything about it has a story. So like even down to like I don't know, Dabakato and Scripps and Axiom, they have a story, whatever that story is. Again, for better or worse, they have a story. Even down to like Noam Dar with his little
fucking
cup thing.
pigtails.
Yeah, his cup thing, and then whoever just won it from him, Nathan Frazier. There's a story there with because he was injured and then the other guy took his place.
Well, it kind of makes sense though, because if you're going to have a storyline for everything, it would be developmental. You got to kind of see what sticks and you got to let everyone kind of hone what they do too to get ready for the main roster. Although more realistic for most of these people is just to have them stand by catering.
But catering superstars. Yeah, I don't see anybody. No one sticks out to me right now, except for top of the card, of course, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Dragunov. They're gonna get their chances.
See, Breaker just doesn't stand out to me at all. I don't know. There's just something about him that's just so boring. And Dragunov, I don't know too much about him. I know he's had like some banger matches, but he's small for one, and I don't know. If his gimmick is he just gets his ass whooped, I don't see how that resonates to greatness.
I don't think that maybe. Yeah, his gimmick is kind of I love pain.
Yeah.
Pain makes me get stronger.
Well, that little the build up or the promo they had, I can't remember the other guy's name.
Dijak.
Dijak. So it looked like they were in like some warehouse, and it looked like Dijak was fucking him. Fucking Dragunov. Oh no, I'm not done yet. I'm still here. Fuck me more. He's all sweaty and shit. He's got this little greasy pipe.
Because he was beating the shit out of him so
I
hard.
bet he was.
And then down to like, not that story, but Tony D trying to figure out who put him in jail, and watch it be Stax. That would be the twist. It was Stax who did it because they're so close. He was
There's
trying to
nobody.
take over the. He's trying to take over the business by putting out the boss.
Well, I thought Joe Gacy had promised, but like I said, he's dead to me. So we'll just have to see who else they sign, if anybody.
I'm sure there will be more. There's this guy. I've yet to see him wrestle. He's had matches, but coincidentally, I've missed it every time he's wrestled. But have you seen? Oh no, you haven't. Oh, anyway, he's got like big gauge earrings. He's got like a neck tattoo. Something wolf. He looks like he may have something, but yeah, I've never. Each time I've missed his match, so
Okay.
can't put too much behind that. But anyway, on to Raw.
Alexander Wolf
Maybe that's his name.
is even. I don't think he's in NXT anymore.
I think it's Desmond Wolf,
Oh,
something like that.
is it a white dude?
I don't know. He's light skinned, but I don't know if he's white. He might be like Mexican or something. I don't know.
Desmond Wolf is Nigel McGuinness.
Oh, I don't know. He's new. And then there's another standout. While we're on the topic of standouts, Lola Vice. Lola Vice. She's a standout too.
No, she ain't.
And it's not because of anything she does in the ring.
No.
Speaking of which, I saw some chatter that maybe there's an outside chance that Amanda Nunez from NFC or what UFC, you know who that is?
Yeah, she was. I think she's the bantamweight champion. She lost to fucking Pena. She beat Ronda Rousey, and she had the belt for a while, and then she lost to Pena, and she went away. And then I think she just had the rematch, and she beat her.
Yeah, apparently there's some rumblings that she may be WWE bound. So,
well, I think she said when she retires, she might do it. I hope not. She's not very charismatic.
Well, here we go. Just something to keep on the radar. But yeah, Lola Vice. I mean, again, nothing she's done in the ring is impressive to me yet. But what she's done outside the ring, when she's standing on that apron, you know what I mean? What did Chris Farley say? Boy, the way she stands on that apron, her and her and my friend. No, they didn't. But can you imagine if they did?
Him and her got it on.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
But anyway, let's get on to Raw. And I tell you, I missed the first half of Raw, so I'll let you take the reins here.
Okay. So Ripley opened up immediately, so I skipped to the Women's World Champion belt unveiling. And it was basically exactly what we said last week. It's the same design as Rollins' World Heavyweight belt. It's just with a white strap. So there's that. I think Women's World Champion is a dumb name, but I don't know. It should just be one division. I won't get on that soapbox. And then Cody came out and he challenged Dominic to a match. And Ripley accepted the match on behalf of Dominic. And The Miz attacked Cody. They had a match. Cody beat The Miz. I skipped quite a bit of this because I didn't have any interest in Ripley and Cody having an exchange. Are you still there?
Fair enough. No, I'm
Oh,
listening.
okay. I believe after that it was Chelsea Green and Becky Lynch.
I still wasn't there yet, so
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know.
Becky Lynch won. Zoe Stark, for some reason, was just watching, sitting on the ladders. You know, Money in the Bank is around the corner, so they have to have ladders at the entrance. And they got to do shit with ladders.
Of course.
Now, I don't know. I had to look for this separately. I don't know if this was where it was, but Indus-Share had a little vignette, and it was directed at Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Now, last week, they decimated them before the bell even rang. And they're in this like boiler room thing. Jinder Mahal, he slowly walks up and he says that Alexander and Benjamin are still walking, so their job isn't done, and they're not satisfied. And he says, for showing us respect with fear in your eyes, we offer you a proper match. Just know, every single one of your fears will be justified. And I'm like, holy shit.
That's
I
how
lo-
you do it.
yeah, I love the for showing us respect with fear in your eyes line. That just got my dick hard. And once again, they didn't even wrestle this week. They just had a little vignette, and they were like one of the best things on the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so more of that, please. So after that, we have Matt Riddle and Priest, Damian Priest. Did you watch that one?
No.
Jesus.
I know, right?
So I mean, it was a Matt Riddle and Damian Priest match. Priest won, of course. Now, I said last week that Imperium was going to interfere, but they didn't. They came out after the match. And it was kind of interesting because Damian Priest, he sees Gunther and Kaiser. Obviously, Vinci's not there because he got his ankle snapped by Riddle. But Damian sees him and he leaps off the apron and he strolls up to Gunther and they have this like little pseudo stare down. And they just look at each other for just a couple of seconds and he goes, pick the bones. And then he walks off. So then Gunther just looks to his side, says something in German, and he walks to the ring. And then he proceeds to beat the fuck out of Matt Riddle. He's slapping him on the ground, just and then the whole time, Kaiser. Now keep in mind, this isn't this isn't a 2-on-1 beatdown like you would normally see. This is just Gunther just smacking the shit out of Riddle. And Kaiser, he's leaning down on the ropes with his hand on his ear. He goes, what? What? I don't hear you, Riddle. I don't hear you. It was great. So then Gunther, he tells Kaiser to pick Riddle up so he can just chop him. Now, to be fair, this was probably one of the weaker Gunther chops. Like, I don't know if people have just started like, "Hey, Gunther, maybe tone it down a little bit. We want to work to, tomorrow."
Or they're bracing for impact.
Or they're bracing for impact. I don't know. So he chops Riddle, and then they're and then they're Gunther grabs his belt, and then Kaiser and Gunther just proceed to talk shit to Matt Riddle in German. They're standing over him. And that was it. It was great. It's Gunther. What can you say?
So we're still working our way to Gunther. I'm surprised the match hasn't been announced for Money in the Bank, but
Right?
we're gonna get there.
Well, Riddle is in the Money in the Bank match.
No, he's not.
I thought he was.
No, he just lost the Priest.
Oh, yeah. You're right. That just shows how much I give a shit about that.
Well, I got to tell you, the way they're booking Damon and Priest, it's
Oh,
kind
they
of
like
giving
him.
me reservations.
Why is that?
Well, I had previously said that LA Knight was a shoe-in to win Money in the Bank, but the way they're booking Priest, I'm thinking they may put the briefcase on him.
Yeah, it's either him or Knight. I don't see anybody else winning it.
Yeah, it's definitely two horse race, but I'm just saying it. I think they may be thinking about putting the briefcase on him, especially with all else that's going on in the Judgment Day, like between him and Finn.
Yeah.
They're clearly seemingly breaking them away from each other. So
Well, I think Ripley and Dominic are going to go their separate way. I think Finn is going to team with McDougal, and then I think Priest is just going to be a babyface.
yeah, seemingly that's what's happening. I
And
mean, it
that
kind of low key. It kind of happens anyway. Like
true. Well, that's what I've
they're
been saying for.
less and less together.
Well, that's what I've been saying for the past year. They've all been like their own separate thing. They're just a bunch of individuals that say they're a group.
Yeah. Every once in a while, you'll see them all together, but
Right.
yeah, they're just their own things.
And yeah, I mean, Priest is kind of sort of starting to grow on me. He does some weird shit. We'll get to it, but I don't mind him. He's the least offensive of the Judgment Day in my eyes.
Well, he seems to be in line for big things. We'll see how big that thing is come Money in the Bank.
Yep.
But it is starting to scare me.
So moving on, we got Reed and Ricochet. You still in blackout?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't see the match, but I saw what happened like between Ricochet and Shinsuke afterwards. So
Okay. So Shinsuke came out to watch the match. Obviously, he wasn't on commentary. And Bronson, I mean, he beat the shit out of Ricochet. Ricochet did his little hope spots, but for the most part, it was a Bronson Reed match. So Reed goes for the tsunami, but as he's climbing for the as he's climbing the ropes, Shinsuke kicks him in the head and starts to pummel him. And then Ricochet, he wasn't happy about that. What are you doing? So I don't know if they're gearing for a triple threat. I don't know if I want to see Shinsuke Nakamura and Bronson Reed. I damn sure don't want to see Ricochet.
well, it is gearing. Looks like it's gearing towards a triple threat. It doesn't make sense because two of the guys are in Money in the Bank. Bronson Reed is not. So why is he feuding? Or maybe they're just using him to build this feud between Ricochet and Shinsuke. But yeah, it doesn't make sense. This is where this is leading to.
Yeah.
But it should be Reed who wins whatever this happens. Let's just make that clear.
I wouldn't.
Tsunamis around the table.
I wouldn't mind seeing some Kinshasas.
Maybe Kinshasa into the tsunami.
All
Both
right,
on
fair enough.
Ricochet.
As long as we see a Kinshasa. All right. Okay, so after that, there was a backstage segment with Cody Rhodes. I didn't watch it. I'm sure you talked about Dominic. And then I think Natalia, or what's left of her, did a backstage promo as well. And shucks, my finger was already on that skip button. I didn't see any reason to let go. So
I
then we
missed
get
this segment, and it wasn't because I had something to do.
Was it Natalia?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, why are they interviewing? Yes. So you imagine I'm just sitting down to start to take in the show, and I'm like, I'm gonna go back and watch the rest. The first thing I see is Natalia. I'm like, really? This
Yeah.
is what the show's been.
Yeah. Do you know what she talked about?
No,
Okay.
I got back up and
I gotcha. After that, we get Kevin Owens and Sammy backstage. Kevin Owens says he was this close to beating the seemingly unbeatable, which was Gunther. Then Gunther and Kaiser interrupt. Sammy asks where's Baldy. Then Pierce shows up, and Kevin Owens says there he is, and Sammy's like, no, not that one. That was kind of funny. The Kaiser kind of he says, if you guys are so confident, why don't you make this a tag or a tag team championship match? Which they agree. And Gunther says, you heard the champs. Make the match happen. So you immediately know that Imperium is losing. And you know that Kaiser is going to be the one getting the pin.
yep. They pretty much told you what was happening in the
Yes.
main event.
Now, this hothead Kevin Owens thing is really obnoxious. I don't know how you're feeling about it.
I'm okay with it. I find it amazing that he like never messes up his lines when he's doing the hothead thing.
Because he's not saying anything.
I mean, he's saying a little bit.
Yeah,
but yeah, he never messes it up.
Especially on SmackDown, it's just like, ugh. If that's going to be like, I don't know. He sounds like a guy that can't control the volume of his voice. It doesn't sound like somebody that's legitimately angry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I find it okay for now.
Yeah. So we have a Bloodline recap, despite the fact that every single one of them are on SmackDown. After that, we get
The story,
but they're all on SmackDown.
Yep.
It's a hard roster split, and the world heavyweight title is just as important, if not more important, than Roman's belt. Remember?
Well, it is being defended on NXT, so they're really telling you what they think of that title.
Well, we'll get to that. So after that, we get Balor and Rollins. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. Unfortunately,
okay. I'll tag you in because I didn't.
Well, that was a good choice not to see it because it was a bad segment, and
you don't say.
Well, you know the reason it was a bad segment, but I'm gonna have to do it anyway. So, Finn Balor, he comes out. He's got something on his mind. He's got a scowl on his face. He calls out Seth Rollins. Out comes Seth Rollins.
Seth, I never lost the championship to you. You injured me. Used dirty tactics. Well, if you want to have a match, I think we can do that. Oh, is that kind of how it went?
Golly. Clip that, someone. Yes, that is how it went. Except it's a little bit different.
Okay.
The O was
The whole
the
segment.
whole segment. So
Oh god.
Finn, he calls out Seth. Seth comes out. The fans are oh. Finn is trying to do his promo. Every time he starts doing his promo, they're owing over him. He stops because this is these are lines that he's supposed to be getting out to build the thing. He's talking about 7 years. This match is 7 years in the making. You won I won the title and you injured me. Our careers went on different trajectories. Meanwhile, still, and he's saying this, and they got the O's. And then Seth Rollins, he's egging it on. He's like, I forgot where they are. It's like, are we having fun tonight? And
Yeah, it was a little
then,
fake laugh.
yeah. And then Balor, he tries to continue. And as he's trying to continue, and finally, Seth Rollins jumps in and he says, he does a little bit. He says, you got bitter, I got better. And I don't want this Finn Balor to face me. I want the Finn who beat me 7 years ago. You want the match, you got it. And then he said something about don't be a little bitch. And then he leaves the ring. That's Seth Rollins saying that. And that was the end of the segment. So, yes, it could have been a lot better. Finn wasn't even bad at the promo, even though he's got the accent thing. He wasn't even bad at what he was saying. It's just he was drowned out by the stupid O's. And already, the community is starting to turn on the O's.
Already?
Already. They're starting to get a little worn out on the O's.
It's been a while with the O's.
Well, it's just funny that, he just won the title and now they're starting to get tired of the O's. Like that the whole reason he won the title, honestly, was because of the O thing.
Well, it doesn't
And now
help
they're
that
getting tired of it.
it doesn't help that he stands for 5 to 10 minutes while they owe before he even says his nothing.
Yeah, it's not even organic anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be organic. Like he's doing it and then he gets to the ring, music stops, crowd still is going. But now he's like holding his hands out, holding his ear, or pointing to his ear, and then pointing to this. That's it. That's the cue. Oh, here it comes! I'm pointing to my ear. Get ready, guys! And then he does that like every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's already starting to get old.
It's been old. It was old on day one. I don't like anything like. I don't know. When a crowd can just like completely take over the show like that, I don't like it at all.
Yeah, and they didn't do anything to help the situation. Like, Seth Rollins could have, I don't know, jumped in and said something. Let him talk, guys. Let him talk. Like you did with Charlotte, or like Charlotte. This is really important to me. If you guys can stop. And they didn't. That just made him get worse.
Yeah, I think asking him to stop is the worst thing you can do. But I mean, it's going to be a good match. I just don't want to listen to the promos. I definitely don't want to listen to the fucking woes.
Well, it's gonna be there. You know, when they get to London, they're gonna really play up those O's. Okay, here we go. Speaking of titles, and they're supposed to be equal. Roman Reigns has. We're skipping forward a little bit.
Okay,
I'm
we're
not
getting
gonna.
right
I'm
to
not
it.
gonna. Hold on. I'm not gonna spoil it.
All right.
But Roman Reigns has a match. It's a non-title match. Seth Rollins has a title match. Who do you think's going to main event that show? this equal title, and who do you think's going to main event the show?
Oh, I would venture to guess it would be Roman,
But the titles are supposed to be
unless
equal.
unless it's the Money in the Bank match. Unless they cop out.
I think Roman ends the show.
I mean, it's either Roman or the Money in the Bank match. It's damn sure ain't Balor and fucking Rollins.
Well, I for one, I hope they start with the Money in the Bank matches for the sole reason is it gives you the little idea that whoever won it, like Kane when he won it, it gives you that little slimmer of hope that the person who won it can come out later that night and cash in. If they end the show, they're not cashing in that night, so that just already writes it off. The unpredictability. Do you remember Kane? He won it that one year, cashed it in the same night on Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Like that can always happen. And then a couple years ago, one of the women cashed it in. I think it was Alexa Bliss. She cashed it in same night on Ronda Rousey or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much. You could do that. The Money in the Bank just it lost its luster after the first couple ones. Really, after Edge.
I don't know. I think the Rob Van Dam one was pretty good.
I don't
One
remember that
night
one.
stand. He called his shot. He said he didn't do the surprise. He just said, John Cena, I'm cashing this in for ECW's one night stand. And then you had that magical John Cena versus Rob Van Dam match. The infamous if John Cena wins, we riot signs. John Cena coming out with the all black chain gang shirt, hat over his head. The crowd's like going crazy. That was a magical night there.
Was that the first time somebody just flat out challenged versus cashing it in?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, that'd be special.
Yeah, and then you had the if John Cena wins, we riot signs.
I mean, there's the Edge one because he had it and you didn't know when, and then he cashed it in, and then you had the well, I'm going to do it the honorable way. I'm just going to tell you when I'm going to cash it in. We're going to have a match out of it, and then you had the first person to lose, and really after that, it's what else can you do with it?
Which brings us to a good point. Let us know in the comments below what your favorite Money in the Bank cash in was. And while you're down there, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 400 subscribers because we have passed 300 subscribers. Thank you for that. And that's about it for the shilling.
Well,
I've shilled us enough. Oh, and we're on Spotify. Thank you to the listeners who are on Spotify. Thank you for the interactions on Twitter. Okay, now that's
all right.
it.
After
TikTok. Forgot about TikTok. Thank you to the engagement on TikTok. By the way, if you don't catch on to all that, it means we're doing stuff in this community. And you guys are on board for that. And thank you for giving us a voice in this community. Now I'm done.
you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm done sucking our fans' dicks.
Moving on, we have Baszler versus Rodriguez. Baszler won. They're still doing the powerhouse thing with no definition Rodriguez. I'm just curious, if she wasn't fucking Braun Strowman, do you think she would be the powerhouse?
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
she's a bigger woman, so there's that.
She's
Like,
taller, I guess, but she's not bigger.
well, you're on this thing about her having no definition.
She
I
doesn't
don't
have
agree
any.
with it there, but
She don't.
I mean,
That little midget
originally,
chick in NXT has more definition than she does. That's definition. If anybody's gonna be a little fucking powerhouse, it'd be her. I'd believe her being a powerhouse over fucking no definition Rodriguez.
I think you're talking about Ivy Nile. But speaking of which, and I tried to watch NXT, and then you got people like Dana Brooke out there. Like, what are we doing?
Right, yeah.
I really don't know what she's doing out there, but she's out there.
That's all she's
I don't
doing.
need. Is she a heel or is she a face? I can't even follow that much of it.
Who cares?
I don't know. She's probably getting more Batista bombs.
Yeah. I thought her and Trips, because
Really?
she was like his handpicked little bodybuilder chick. And you know how he likes the bodybuilding. And
Yeah, but he
Stephanie's getting
likes
up there.
brunettes. I don't know. Stephanie still got it. If I'm being honest.
She's not as good as she was.
She still does it for me.
She kind of
I mean,
looks like
she's older. What do you want from her? You think she's gonna look like she's 20 still?
hold on. She needs we need to move on to the daughters. She's starting to look like Vince.
I mean, she's like 50.
Yeah.
I think for a 50-year-old, she's still, she's still there for me.
Mm. So after Baszler and Rodriguez, we get Gable and Eric from the Chad Gable from the Alpha Academy versus Eric from the Viking Raiders. So you know who's going to win.
This match was crazy.
Yeah, apparently Valhalla received a message from the gods about Maxine Dupree. At the end of the match, Valhalla inexplicably just runs to attack Maxine. And then Dupree hits Valhalla with the god awfulest, worst arm drag I've ever seen in my life. This bitch is just nothing but a pair of tits, but they're going to fucking elevate her.
That's okay. She can do what she wants.
So naturally, Gable wins because the Viking Raiders don't.
Now, what's important? Oh, let's take back important. If you really want to talk about what's important, is Maxine Dupree's outfit. That's what's important. But the other thing is, throughout the show,
It was just a pair of pants and a t-shirt.
I know, but she pulls it off so good.
She's just a pair of tits.
Just okay.
I mean, we saw Rhonda.
She is so much better than Rhonda. So we're talking about like not even in the same. I don't even know. It's not even in the same league. We're talking about like, and Rhonda's good, but I'm talking about we're in a different stratosphere with Maxine Dupree.
Nah, Maxine Dupree looks fake. And Rhonda has that added bonus of like once you get into the cage with her, she won't have any mercy. Maxine Dupree will just lie there with her head turned and her eyes
all
closed.
she needs to do. That's all she needs.
All right.
But what I was going to say was throughout the show, they were doing this whole thing where she was training for this arm drag, and then we got the payoff in the match. Why
Um,
Valhalla ran over there, that's just another reason. But yeah, that was the payoff to the buildup of the many segments they went back to of her practicing this arm drag. She was practicing it on Otis. Otis is Otis, so she couldn't get him over. And then she practiced on Chad Gable. She finally did it on Chad Gable, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, you're ready." And then yes, and then during the match, she did it on Valhalla.
oh, that's dumb.
Whatever, whatever for that whole thing. And then I took back, but it was at that moment I did take back because I remember I was like, you could have a good tag division, like you got people like the Alpha Academy. They could be legit contenders. I take that back. They can't be contenders anymore. They're just comedy gold or whatever it is. They're just there to make Vince McMahon laugh.
I don't know. I think they're being propped up to sell that pair of tits. They had their little moment. They all celebrated, and the
You think
Viking
she's gonna
raid.
have an OnlyFans?
Probably.
Don't tease
They all
me.
seem.
Don't you tease me. My credit card will be out so fast.
I think that didn't they relax the social media policy?
They signed a deal with Twitch. So I guess there's like a WWE channel. Uh, well, yes, to take back, they did lighten the little restriction thing that they have because there's people who stream now. Asuka's putting out videos every week. EO apparently also has a YouTube channel. She puts out videos. So they're doing that. They've relaxed on that, but WWE just signed a deal with Twitch where they have like a WWE channel and then they have people playing games, like approved people playing games through the channel. So there's that.
All right. Moving on, we have a interesting little interaction with Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Um, Balor asks Priest if he is gonna cash and then like if he wins the Money in the Bank match, like, are you really gonna cash it in on me? And Damian Priest is like, I'm hurt you'd even say that. I give you my word I wouldn't do that. But you should keep your word when you say you're gonna stay out of it. Because it can, for some reason, I guess Damian Priest was under the impression that Finn Balor isn't trying to get to the World Heavyweight title. Because obviously Priest is. I don't know when that was said or what.
No, it was a callback because last week he told Balor to stay in the back and he didn't.
Okay.
Or that I thought that's what he was referencing.
Okay. Okay. So then for some reason Damian Priest like broke out in Spanish and it threw me off and I just started skipping it. I don't mind. I get he's Puerto Rican. I get he speaks Spanish, but Balor is a fucking Irish man. He's not a fellow Puerto Rican. He's not a Spaniard. He's not from Mexico. He's from Ireland. So for Damian Priest to just there's no reason to suggest that Balor would understand that.
True. Um, he basically just told him, "Go win the title so we can get back to being the judge." Because they're starting to create a rift. So he's like, "Go win the title so we can put this all this behind us and get back to being the Judgment Day."
Okay.
Also to note, there was a backstage segment with Finn Balor talking with JD Mc Don't Google Me, as Kevin Owen called him, JD McDonough. So there was that tease. They were
Finally,
basically
oh,
just talking about Finn was telling him that you can either make friends or you can make money, and it's like don't go make your money. And then JD McDonough said, "You should take your own advice." Or yeah, that was bad, but that's what he said.
yeah, they're going to be a team. And finally, we get to our main event: Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser of Imperium. So there was a moment in the match where Sammy starts chopping Gunther, and Corey Graves is like, "That's just stupid." I thought that was funny. Um, I mean, it's kind of what you would expect. Gunther kicked ass. Owens and Zayn had a bunch of hope spots. Kaiser bumped around. There was a point where Riddle came out and Gunther just immediately kicked him. And then Owens DDT Gunther on the ramp, which took him out of the match. And then Kaiser becomes the first person I've ever seen to lose to that blue thunder bomb.
It was bound to happen. Someone was gonna have to do it. But yes, that is quite the quite the odd scene or rare scene.
Yeah. And that is your Monday Night Raw. And I thought it sucked a big old floppy dick.
Well, I guess it is good that I missed more than half of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I
You
think
didn't.
maybe I just missed about half of it
Yeah.
because again, I got there towards like 8:30 ish.
I'd say the only thing that you missed would be Indus Share and Gunther slapping the shit out of Riddle.
Yeah, the beatdown. Too bad I missed that part.
Yeah. I would go back and watch it. It was kind of good. It's pretty good. Especially like Kaiser was just, I can't hear you. Can't hear you, Riddle. All right. So moving on to SmackDown, we get a SmackDown recap from last week. Now, notice how on SmackDown, not once did they recap Raw.
What was there to recap?
Well,
You think they were going to play a? Well, technically they should be playing Seth Rollins segments, but
right.
because
The
he's just as important.
Seth Rollins he's defending his title on NXT. He's defending his title at a house show at some point. I don't know if he did already or it's coming up. He's defending his title against Balor. He's having an open challenge next week. I mean, the world heavyweight title is being defended left and right. But no fucking people about it on SmackDown. Yet on Raw, we're getting SmackDown recaps about Roman. And you're trying to tell me that the world heavyweight title is just as important.
Yeah,
And you
I
know
mean
what?
Roman defending the title in itself is, or I'm sorry, Seth defending the title on NXT in itself. That just tells you it's not an even playing field here.
Right. And you know what makes people forget about a new title?
What is that?
When you give everybody a new title. Everybody got a new title. Seth Rollins got his title. Asuka got her new title. Roman got his new title. There's been like 5 new titles after Seth Rollins. They've all been the little unveiling thing too. So it's all been all the same stage and same setup.
Well, that being said, both SmackDown titles seem like they're being treated as a more bigger deal than the Raw titles. For one, they didn't even advertise Rhea Ripley. Like even up until like the show aired, there was no like when you go on WWE.com, they usually run down the show at some point, or how I get it is on Twitter. They run down what's coming up on the show. Usually around like 4 or 5 o'clock before the show kicks off the air, they give you a rundown on what's happening. There was no mention of Rhea Ripley getting a new title at all.
I think it was just common sense at that point.
Well, I'm just saying they did it completely unadvertised. Meanwhile, Asuka's getting this big what to do for her title reveal. So they're just not being treated equally.
I don't remember. Was hers advertised? Asuka's?
Yeah, it was advertised.
Oh.
Asuka or the championship presentation or something like that.
Okay.
They called it.
I think they just wanted you to watch because Charlotte was going to be there. If Charlotte wasn't there, I don't think they would have given a shit.
Well, she was
Clearly,
there.
because we'll get to it. So yeah, we had the SmackDown recap. After that, we get the Bloodline entering the building. The lady tries to ask questions, and no one's answering. They all just walk past her.
Kayla Braxton, and she was looking as gorgeous as always. Now, there's a funny thing is, Roman Reigns, he gets out of the car first. She tries to ask him, and Heyman's there, and Roman says, "Paul, your girlfriend's here." Or no, he didn't say Paul. He said, "Wise man, your girlfriend's here." And then Heyman didn't answer either, but that was just funny, a little touch.
Yeah. They got nice little one-liners. I will give them that. As corny as the writing is, the little aside jokes are usually pretty spot on.
Yeah.
So we get a gauntlet match for the number 1 contender opportunity for the tag team titles. Well, we start off with Solo Cup and DeMarcus Cousins versus the Brawling Brutes. In the match are the OC, Pretty Deadly, Hit Row. I think that's it. Am I missing one? LWO.
Yeah, and the OC.
I did say OC. The part of LWO that's not Escobar.
Escobar. We're going to have to talk about that.
So the Brawling Brutes, they beat DeMarcus Cousins. I think Montez Ford was taken out of commission somehow. There was the OC and the Brawling Brutes. Brawling Brutes take out the OC. So now I got a little bit of momentum. It's starting to get interesting. Then LWO come in. What you know? Brawling Brutes, they beat LWO. Oh shit, they're going the distance. Then Hit Row comes in. Hit Row doesn't last 5 seconds. And it was great too, because that motherfucker that wasn't Flop Dollar, he was combing his beard the whole time. And I was like, man, I just want him to get punched in the face. So it was great to just see him
Shout
immediately.
to the Adonis.
Whatever.
He's the Adonis.
It was great just seeing him just dumped outside the ring. And then Flop Dollar get hit with the brogue kick. 1, 2, 3. See ya. Why'd you even come? Then we get Pretty Deadly and the Brawling Brutes. Now they're high on Pretty Deadly because Pretty Deadly won. and they are your number one contenders for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
which was a surprise to me because this is taking place in London. Now it's on SmackDown. It's not at Money in the Bank, but it's in London.
Mm-hmm.
So I was for sure that they were going to put Sheamus on the card since they were in London, but they did not. They went Pretty Deadly.
Aren't Pretty Deadly British?
Yeah, but they're not Sheamus.
Well,
Who do
they're
you think the
newer.
crowd wants to see more, Pretty Deadly or Sheamus?
I guess it depends.
Sheamus is like,
I,
Sheamus
I,
is a babyface too. So,
I heard London's pretty woke, so they might like those little tutti fruities.
oh, there you go, canceled.
The Yes Boy.
Yes, boy. Oh man, I gotta say, Wade Barrett, he's almost unbearable with this whole thing. Oh,
Yeah.
these two delicious snacks. Like, what are you talking about, Barrett?
Oh, check your toxic
These,
masculinity.
yeah, these killer queens.
Yeah, just shut up.
Like, golly, please.
And he's the wrestler. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael Cole had a great line. He said, "It's fight night times 5." Because that's how many teams you have to beat. uh, it was nice to see the whole like going the distance type story within the match,
Yeah.
and it may have been the best match of the whole week, if I'm being honest.
Well, it's hard for me to say since, I missed half of one show.
Yeah.
What
Well,
makes my pick this week going to be a little bit more jaded.
the
I almost
competition
mentioned
is Cody
Amy
Rhodes
Parker.
versus The Miz, Becky Lynch versus Chelsea Green, No Definition Rodriguez versus Shayna Baszler, Bronson Reed versus Ricochet, and the Gable and Eric.
Yeah. So I guess,
Priest. Well, Priest Riddle may have been good. I guess it depends on your flavor there.
well, I know those two can put on a good match, so,
I don't like
but I didn't
Riddle.
see it, so.
There's nothing he can do.
Yeah, you don't like Riddle. I like Riddle. Well, that's a little
Of course
far.
you do.
I I know that Riddle can wrestle. That let me take back the like thing. As a matter of fact, I don't like him at all, but I know he can wrestle.
Hmm.
You know, I said I take it back. I don't like Matt Riddle.
Okay. After that, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they come out to congratulate Pretty Deadly. And did you watch this?
Yeah.
Okay, you'll say it better than me. Go ahead.
Well, so first of all, so Pretty Deadly, they're still in the ring after the gauntlet match. Out comes Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. There was a funny line and also a ridiculous line, all in the same. Pretty Deadly, Elton Prince, I believe, he said, we just they're talking about winning the gauntlet match. Remember, they came out, they were the last team, and he said, we just beat 5 men, 5 teams to be the number one contender.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous because you didn't beat 5 teams.
Yeah, I thought that was a good heel line.
Yeah, it's equivalent to when Cody Rhodes said he outlasted 30 men when he was number 30 in the Royal Rumble. Like,
Yeah.
no, you didn't. But yeah, I laughed at that line. But I knew it was them being a heel, and it was the kind of exaggeration that I know I would do myself. If I
Right.
won a gauntlet match as the last person, I just lasted that gauntlet match. I beat everybody in the gauntlet match. So yeah, they said we won the gauntlet match, and our hair is still in better, less stringy than that thing over there, talking about Sami Zayn. And then they said that they were going to win the titles, and I forgot exactly what they said, but they kept doing it over and over again.
Um, I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah,
They're
they
gonna
kept
keep
saying,
going even longer or something. It's
yeah,
gonna go even longer. It's gonna go longer.
oh yeah, yeah, it was the celebration. They're talking about they're gonna win the titles, and the celebration is gonna go longer and longer and longer, and then they do this for like several minutes. Sami Zayn, he looks over at Kevin Owens. He's like, "Are you hearing this?" And Kevin Owens is like, "Yeah, I hear it." He's like, and Sami Zayn's like, "Doesn't it? I mean, this doesn't piss you off? I mean, you got this temper thing going on. You're not blowing up about this." And then Kevin Owens said, "Well, you told me I needed to control my anger, so that's what I'm doing. But I tell you, I do want to punch them in the face." And then Kevin Owens goes into his angry triad, and then Sami Zayn's like, "You know what? That sounds like a good idea." They go down to the ring. Pretty Deadly retreats, but we have a match set up. Pretty Deadly versus Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. That is going to be the SmackDown right before Money in the Bank, so they'll be in London. Which I believe that SmackDown will be a big show because it's an international show. Those are always fun.
Do you think they're angling to split Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn up? Not at Money in the Bank, but just kind of big picture.
Not now. Remember, I called that back in like after WrestleMania. I said something seems off about Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt it back then, but now I don't really feel it as much.
Well, see, now I'm starting to feel it because, well, for one, they both have different theme songs still.
Yeah,
And I kind of noticed that when Kevin Owens will just kind of sit there with a little poo look on his face when Sami Zayn's music starts, especially like when the crowd starts cheering. It seems to be like they cheer louder for him.
yeah, he does call that out sometimes.
Then they do the woes.
You know, they gotta
The
have the
woes
wall.
are, yeah, the woes are key.
Yeah, I mean, what are you even doing if you don't have a whoa?
Right. Whoa, whoa, whoa. See, it doesn't work.
Yeah, like, but again, they put all the walls on Monday Night Raw, except for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn right now because they're champions that are actually defending on both shows
Yeah.
as they should.
So I think it'll be a good match. I kind of like I like Pretty Deadly, but I don't. I like the idea. I don't like some of the bullshit that they do. I wish they would be more on the wrestler side versus the whatever it is that they are side.
Oh, you know what it is. But see, that's what I'm saying. I don't like the gimmick itself. I think it's a little bit, yeah, not my taste.
Well, it kind of reminds me of like the Rougeaus, or
Who?
like like the Mounties,
Oh,
Jacques
uh,
Rougeau,
I
and
mean,
like
were they?
Lord Steven Regal and David Taylor.
They I don't remember them being this, flamboyant.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they kind of tone down some shit and focus more on wrestling, then you know, mushroom headed yogurt slingers.
I mean, outside of like the gimmick itself, like if you pay attention to like the things they do in the ring, it's good. Like they pay attention to the small tag team details, like holding the tag rope, which not every team does.
Sheamus didn't even fucking do that.
Yeah, like they pay attention to the small things that
Yeah.
actual tag teams do. So I like them for that. It's just the gimmick is a little bit too far out, and you know I'm all about the sports entertainment.
Yeah.
I just think they need to tweak the gimmick a little bit. I actually think if they went like dark with the gimmick, it would work out. Like, stop wearing the little titty shirts. Let's get you like an all black. You can still be like maybe like black lace. What Seth Rollins wears. Put them in that stuff. And then maybe we got something here.
Okay.
Like you can I am a fan of the gimmick of like you don't know like
Oh
Prince.
God.
Like if Prince were a wrestler, like you don't know, but then when the bell rings, he'll beat your ass. Velveteen Dream, that's the ultimate one I'm talking about here. His
Gold
gimmick
Dust is the
was
ultimate one.
Gold Dust. Yeah, it's like you don't know. He's kissing Ahmed Johnson, saying he's giving him mouth to mouth, but
Yeah.
when the bell rings, he'll beat your ass,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll never forget the name of.
Gold Dust.
Yeah. Yeah, so that gimmick can work. You just have to
Yeah.
do it right.
So what? They need to go around pretending or acting like they're going to gang rape people. Because that's
No,
kind of what Gold Dust did.
I just think they need to tone it, tweak it a little bit, just a little
Okay.
bit. But yeah, Gold Dust. I mean, when he first came into the WWF, he was like when he was fooling around with Mankind, and he was like spooky. He's great.
Well, I
Kissing
think
Ahmed Johnson.
that
I
was
was giving him mouth to mouth.
after Razor.
Yeah.
So the when he was with Razor, that was really him and Piper.
Gold Dust and Piper.
Yeah. He was all about the little tattoos and I got your name on my heart. What do you can you imagine getting into a fight with somebody and then like they just take their shirt off and they have your name written on there?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do?
Yeah,
All
see,
right,
he was, and
all
they
right,
called him
I'll
Bizarre.
give you 5 minutes.
Like they called him Bizarre, and you didn't know what was really happening there. Then he all of a sudden he starts coming out with Marlena, and she's like hot, straight boobs,
Yeah.
like real thin, all boob,
And her nipples were constantly hard.
always hard. Like I don't know what was happening there. They were never
her
not hard.
her nipples were almost as hard as my wee wee.
When you could have had a contest.
Could have, yeah.
Let's put them together and see which one's harder. Let's touch them together. This is the show, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the show. Speaking of which, we have Io Sky versus New York's own Zelina Vega. And what a waste of a fucking match for Io Sky.
Yeah, I'm surprised she lost that.
I'm not.
But I guess they wanted to give Zelina a win to give her the illusion that she's gonna
That
win
she's
Money in the
good.
Bank.
Yeah. And they're doing more tension between Bailey and Io. But
Yeah.
I just fucking split them up already. God damn.
Oh, there's even more tension coming.
How's that?
With the did you see the Shotzi segment?
Yeah,
Sure.
no. I did not. You kidding me?
Well, I'll talk about it. It's much later, but it has to do with Damage Control.
Oh, she didn't she challenge one of them for their Money in the Bank spot?
Well, I guess I can talk about it now. So
Yeah.
They're backstage. They're talking about EO's talking to Bailey, like, why you cost me my match. In comes Shotzi. Bailey says, "You're not even good enough to be in the Money in the Bank match." Shotzi says, "Well, um, I could have beat you if you didn't cheat," something to that effect. And she said, "If you're feeling so confident, why don't you put your spot on the line, Money in the Bank spot?" Bailey doesn't say anything, and then EO says she accepts. So next week we have Shotzi versus Bailey for one of the Money in the Bank slots. And then Bailey's like, "Why'd you do that?" And EO said, "I was helping you out."
Io is such a bitch.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
see it, but I know exactly how she said it
yeah. So
with her
more
little
tension.
sly Asian eyes.
Yeah. I will say I can't wait till they are split so that we can always get EO's theme when she comes out, because that stupid damage control theme needs to go away forever.
Dude, I know we stroke our dicks over the Asian wrestlers, but Io is legit like one of my favorite things in wrestling right now. Just her the attitude, like the her coming out, she does the drunk boxer thing, and she looks like a bitch. She looks like a predator, and she's only like 5 foot nothing.
Yeah. I like the little touch that she does where she, when she's going for her over the moon salt and she like steps on the person.
Yeah,
That's a newer. She didn't really do that in NXT, like maybe every once in a while, but yeah, that's like her thing now.
there was a moment when in the Zelina Vega match where Zelina's kind of using the ropes to pull herself up, and then Io stands on her hand and
Yeah.
then just starts posing. It's pretty good. I just like the little things that she does. She's really good. I know like Asuka's supposed to be the ace, but I really think Io's better than her. Sorry, guys. Sorry, fans. I'm
Oh
sorry.
no, we're gonna lose them. What are we at now? Oh no, we're down to 200 again. We lost 100 off of that statement. Boy, wouldn't that be crazy?
yeah, yeah,
Just from that statement.
yeah. They call us frauds.
Yeah. I only subscribed. Never mind. Go ahead. Next segment.
Um, After that, we got the Grayson Waller effect, and
I guess I'll be taking back over here.
well, let me just say this: they built up Charlotte versus Bianca Belair, and the whole idea is around the Asuka's title.
Yes.
Not one of them mentioned Asuka.
No.
Asuka wasn't in the segment. Asuka didn't even have a little televised little segment, you know, where she interrupts via satellite or some shit.
Yep, she was
She
completely
wasn't
TV.
she wasn't in the back. The lady, she's fucking trying to get all the bloodline to talk about Jey Uso. She ain't looking for Asuka. Byron Saxon ain't looking for Asuka.
Well, she did have a video package right before the segment.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, recapping her title thing presentation.
No, that doesn't
So
count.
maybe that was more about Charlotte, but
Yeah. That was all about that was to set up Charlotte because she's coming out to do the Waller effect, and then she's gonna feud with Bianca Belair. And the whole idea is for the fucking whatever Asuka's title's name is. But Asuka isn't fucking involved. Asuka is a fucking afterthought. It's bullshit.
well, I think that tells us what's happening.
It
Maybe.
does, and it's like I don't understand it. Why are you gonna switch it? If you're gonna have Bianca Belair and Charlotte at the end of the day, why switch it in the first place? Why give Asuka this fake moment?
Well, I still think they can do Bianca versus Charlotte without a title. I
They
think they
could,
can do that. But
But
are they? No, because Charlotte needs 15.
even if they don't do it for the title, they're already establishing the fact that this match is more important than Asuka. Whatever Bianca Belair and Charlotte have going on with each other, that is more important than Asuka. Otherwise, Bianca Belair would be addressing Asuka, who, by the way, white poison in her eyes to get her belt. Why is she more angry at Charlotte for jumping the line when Asuka used poison in her eyes?
Are you not listening to the segment?
No, of course I didn't fucking watch the segment.
Okay, well let me
Okay,
run
go
down the
ahead.
segment and then maybe it'll make sense. Okay, so before we even get to the ring, we have Bianca Belair. She confronts Adam Pierce. Pierce says that he's trying to figure this all out, so he doesn't have an answer for her right now. Bianca said, "I try to do things the right way," and um, I forgot exactly how she said it, but she said, "I was trying to do things the right way. That didn't
I was
work."
trying to do things the right way. That didn't work. Now I'm going to do things my way. And then she
Yes,
walked off.
yes. So then now we go to the Grayson Waller effect. That was important because of what happens in the Grayson Waller effect. Grayson Waller comes out. Charlotte Flair comes out. Grayson Waller, he just asks her stuff like, how, "Are you excited, or do you think you'll be 15-time champion?" Charlotte Flair said, "15 times and 16 times." And then she says, "And that's when you woo." And then Grayson Waller's like, "Oh, wait. The crowd starts wooing. He's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, this is my moment." Then he does his woo. And out comes Bianca Belair. She confronts, so she comes out, by the way, she's dancing. And she comes down to the ring. She gets in Charlotte Flair's face. And she says, "So let me get this straight. I did things the right way. And you came out, cut the line, and now you're getting a title match. Am I tripping?" Bianca Belair said that, by the way.
Yeah, hold on. She a couple weeks ago, she said that exact same thing on Twitter. She goes, "Am I tripping or am I tripping?" Which hoops? Anybody?
Yes.
Hoops? Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I'm just saying, we had that report that she didn't want to be ghetto. Now she's talking about getting her licks, and now she's tripping.
Which proves my
So
point that they just pick and choose. Well, not they, but you know what I mean. Seems to be some selective outrage.
Well, she says this. She says that Charlotte Flair, you can get your match. Oh, Charlotte Flair, she comes back. She says some stuff that, "I'm a champion with or without the belt. Can you say the same thing? I was 14 times champion. I'm a champion with or without the belt. Can you say the same thing?" Talking to Bianca. Bianca says, "I'm the longest reigning women's champion day uh, of the modern day, and I didn't need 14 times to do it. So put some damn respect on my
Oh
name."
snap! Oh shit! She's getting sassy.
Yes. And I'll already say that I already like this Bianca Belair way more than the champion.
You like the Martin version,
I like the natural
Gina?
version.
Gina? I don't think she sounds natural, dude.
I can guarantee you that's how she talks outside the ring. You th- I can guarantee you that's how she talks outside the ring.
She says tripping and respect on my name and all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
I want. She'd better bring back the line, "You don't even go here," because that was the best line ever. So just to go back in NXT, they're about to have a title match. It was Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley, and then Charlotte Flair was there for some reason, trying to inject herself into the match as a triple threat match. And Bianca Belair says, "You don't even go here," and then that started this whole thing about that chant, "You don't go here."
Okay.
So maybe she brings that back too. But yes, I like the edgier or ghetto Bianca Belair. I like
All
it.
right.
This is much more, and I'll say that I was wrong because I said, and also the internet is wrong too because they said that Bianca Belair is supposed to be turning heel in all this.
Yeah.
After after feeling this segment, what I'm thinking is that Bianca Belair is just going to get more over when she turns on Charlotte Flair because people are not going to cheer Charlotte Flair over her.
You
So
can
right,
you can still be over and be a heel though.
well, just gonna it's just like what happened to Becky Lynch. They tried to turn Becky Lynch heel when she turned on Charlotte Flair. It backfired like hell because the place erupts and they were chanting yes, yes, yes every swing that she was doing to Charlotte Flair. They were chanting yes, 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 yes. Like that whole Becky Lynch heel turn flopped because she was so over for attacking Charlotte Flair.
Okay.
Think the same thing. Maybe not at that level because it was so much more for Becky Lynch because she was always the nice girl and kept getting pushed down, yada yada yada. Bianca Belair is like the John Cena of the division, so she's not oppressed in any way. But I still think when she attacks Charlotte Flair, she will get major pops out of it. Now yes, it will be up to her to still try to get herself over as a heel, but already she's acting cooler, so it's just going to be hard. Um, but yeah, she told Charlotte Flair that during their title match, which is in 2 weeks, I believe, so in London, during the title match, she will be there at ringside. So she's basically saying she's going to interfere. So I'm thinking that maybe this goes to a three-way at SummerSlam. That way, someone can pin Oscar and or yeah, someone can pin Oscar, and you avoid having to pin Charlotte or Bianca because that's what WWE wants to do. It's either that or we just go Charlotte versus Bianca, no title. But I kind of feel like they would want to do that at like a WrestleMania stage instead of a SummerSlam.
I don't know. I do know that I'm not interested either way.
There you go.
If it was Io Sky or Asuka, the actual champion, again, they're trying to portray Charlotte and Bianca as more important than Asuka, who is the champion.
Well, as I was saying, the story is about Charlotte skipping Bianca.
I understand what
Bianca.
the story is, and the but the end goal is Asuka, but Asuka is not even. There's no importance emphasized on her whatsoever.
Well, I think that's part of it all, but we can move on from it. I just think that there's a reason for that, and it's because they don't want because Asuka's gonna walk out as champion, and they're setting up this heel turn, and that's the story, as opposed to Asuka being in danger to lose the title.
Okay, I still think that You want to talk about putting respect on people's names? How about putting respect on the champion's name? How about at least asking her what she thinks?
Well, she already said no one's ready for Oscar. So she, so she told him what she told him what's up.
All right. Moving on, we got Karrion Cross and Scarlett versus Mia Yim and AJ Styles.
Well, beforehand, no, never mind.
Okay.
There was a backstage segment with Paul Heyman, but it's not really
Oh, was there?
really important.
Oh, was it where he Roman asked him to get Jay?
Yeah, so they kept going to the Bloodline segment throughout the show. So he, Paul Heyman comes out and he's like, and Roman's like, "Did you talk to Jay?" And he said no, and he said, "You need to talk to Jay." And then yeah, Paul Heyman leaves to go find Jay Uso.
Well, there was a Heyman asked Roman if he talked to Jay, and he said, well, "I'm the tribal chief. Jay's not the tribal chief. When Jay's the tribal chief, people can go to talk to him. But when I'm the tribal chief, they come to talk to me." And then he told Heyman to go talk to Jay. You need to go talk to Jay.
Yeah, actually, that was a earlier segment.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and even what I said was an earlier segment.
Oh, okay.
This segment was the last segment. Heyman, he comes in, he talks. Roman says, "What did he say?" And then Heyman is like frozen, and basically says that
He just shakes his head.
yeah, and then Solo, he starts behind Paul Heyman.
Oh my
So Paul
god.
Heyman leaves. Solo, he starts behind Paul Heyman, and he's like, should I handle this, my tribal chief?"
Oh my
And
god.
Roman said, "No, we got plenty of time." And then, so that's how the segment ends.
Whatever you say,
Solo
my tribal
says,
chief. And then he went
"Yes,
back to wrapping his wrists like an autistic.
he's getting ready." But yeah, that was worth pointing out because of
Yeah.
what's to come.
I don't know why I didn't write any of those down.
So
Okay,
then we go to
so yeah. So they have a rule where it has to be the men versus the women, and if somebody tags, then the person of that same gender has to get in the ring. So immediately Mia Yim is used as a weapon against Karrion Cross.
yep, with the DDT.
Uh-huh. Scarlett hasn't improved one bit. And holy shit, Cross won. And Scarlett was wearing way too much clothing.
Yeah, she had this new thing going on. Wasn't the best. But there was a funny and weird, I'll tell you why it's weird, segments within this match. So AJ Styles, he's staring down Scarlett. Scarlett, who at this point is dancing and playing with AJ Styles' hair. AJ Styles takes off his glove
See
and
this?
he points at his finger and says, "I'm married, bitch."
Yeah.
So there was so much about this little interaction here. Number one, if you're AJ Styles and someone like Scarlett is throwing themselves at you, you don't go, "I'm married." You do it and then ask for forgiveness later, or you do it and just tell your wife. I mean, it was
Look
one
at
of
her.
those things I couldn't turn down.
Look at her.
Number two, yeah, look at her.
There, tell you what.
Like there's a hotness level where it's just like, I mean, can you even blame me? Like if you had like a graph of not cheat, I don't know, and then you have like a straight line that goes And then if she's above the line, it's like, did you blame me?
Right.
And that's where Scarlet falls. Uh, but the other thing is, she's dancing and playing with AJ Styles' hair. And I know this is for a distraction, but Karen Cross is right there.
Right.
So is he like into this? Is he? Do they do that? Is like a threesome thing? He lets her bang other guys, and he watches
I
in the
think so.
corner. He watches in darkness, and she doesn't even want to hear him breathing, or maybe she does, and he's just beating it in the only to see the whites of his eyes. And then she tells him, "Close your eyes, I can still see you." And he's just there. Yes, I probably went way too far with this little interaction. That's that's what we do.
He's got that thing where her ankles are next to his ears, and he looks over at him and does the little wolf pack gesture while winking.
He's like, "Oh man, pound my wife good," because he's loses so much that can only be that can only be what's happening there. Is she's doing other guys and he's watching.
Right.
But yeah, she's doing this and he's right there.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I mean, she lip syncs, so what more can you do? So after that, we get Escobar versus
Oh,
LA
wait, whoa,
Knight.
whoa, whoa,
Oh,
whoa, whoa,
did I
whoa!
miss something?
You didn't miss something, but I did want to say also to note here, Karen Cross debuted, I believe, a new finisher. So there is that.
What, the little hook thing?
No, so he got the cross jacket, and then as AJ Styles was getting to the ropes, he pulled him back. He did the cross hammer, which is the forearm to the back of the head, and then he did some kind of like F5 into like a flatliner type thing.
Oh, I must have missed that.
So yeah, seemingly he has a new finisher. You wouldn't know that because he doesn't win matches, but he did, and that was the finisher. But just a small note there. Don't even know what it's called, but yes. Now,
Okay.
Escobar, if you want to go take that.
Escobar and LA Knight. Um, I'll be completely honest with you. I had no interest in this match because of the whole LWO shit. They were all over Raw. You got Zelina Vega, New York's own, earlier with Io Sky, and then now you got fucking Escobar. I'm done with the LWO shit. But
Well,
I do know that Knight lost.
I guess I'll take back over.
Yeah.
So, Rey Mysterio, he starts in the ring. He says, one of the greatest accomplishments in his career is reforming the LWO. And he says that this person who he's about to introduce, he represents the essence of the LWO. Out comes Santos Escobar. Santos Escobar is coming out. He's slapping hands with the fans, shaking hands with little kids, smiling, taking pictures.
Ugh.
He gets into the ring and he's talking about um, he loves Rey Mysterio and he's gonna win Money in the Bank for everybody out there who has a dream to show that they can accomplish what they put their minds out to set their minds to.
So he ain't winning.
He's not winning. That's number one. Two, I remember when Santos Escobar used to be so cool, coming out with his luchador hat, luchador mask, and he takes it off.
Oh my god, that's
Pretty
what I
much
said
just,
last week.
yeah, pretty much disrespecting the Lucha legacy because if you take the mask off, that's disrespectful.
Right.
And he was wearing the thing, and he had such a cool aura, and they're like Mexican mafias in the
Yeah.
backstage segments. And
They're
now
like
he's
the
out here
cartel.
talking about and now he's out here talking about if you put your mind to it, guys, you can do anything you want. Yeah, yeah. Tell
Yeah.
people that, and then they go out there and get crushed by real life.
And he's
You can't
dressing
do
like
anything you put your mind to. You can only do what you can do. You can't overcome anything. There's This is not how the world works. The world punches you in the mouth if you try to do something that you can't do.
yeah. And he's dressing like a dork.
Yeah, so he's like a insufferable baby face right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully they change that soon somehow. I don't know. I guess yeah, he's a lost cause. I'm sorry. He's just gonna be an insufferable baby face for a while.
Yes.
So skip buttons will have to be ready for that. If he has a mic in his hand, to get that skip button ready.
And what you just said is I'm ahead of the curve because I totally skipped everything.
Yes. But yeah, out came LA Knight. Another thing of note here. So they had a match coming up. LA Knight, he didn't even get on the mic, but he comes out. Of course, LA Knight, when he comes out, what does he get? Cheers or boos? He gets cheers. That's what actually happens. But what WWE would portray him to be getting is boos because they piped in boos for some reason.
Interesting.
Yes. And you see, like they're piping in boos, but you actually see the crowd cheering. How ridiculous is that?
Well,
And that's another thing that leads me to believe Damian Priest may be winning Money in the Bank. It's because they're still trying to suppress the LA Knight movement for some reason.
yeah, it looked like
Like,
he was supposed to be getting a push.
yeah, he's like organically over. Like here you got Escobar telling him
Well,
out
you
here.
know how much they hate that.
Yeah, here you got Escobar trying this white meat over the top. You can do anything you put your mind to. Babyface promo.
Say your
Slapping
prayers and eat your
hands.
vitamins.
Yeah, slapping hands and taking pictures and kissing babies. Like as insufferable as babyface as you can get. And then you got LA Knight coming out, not doing any of that, and he's getting more cheers than Escobar.
Yeah.
Like, what is that telling you?
Because
But no, they got to pipe in the booze. Oh, also because he's facing Escobar, who's the most over babyface right now in the history of WWE.
ever.
Golly, what's happening right now?
It's awful.
What have they done to Escobar?
I want Gunther to go to SmackDown so bad. I want them to take Gunther and Indashir and just send them to SmackDown.
And just keep him on SmackDown.
Yeah, because this shit is awful. Like the people around Gunther bring Gunther down. Because he's forced to do like their silly shit. Because that's all they can do is silly shit.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so Knight lost. And yeah. Skip button.
And this all lasted like 2 minutes max. So yeah.
And that was our main event for the evening. Or so we thought. Because finally.
I guess it was.
Yeah, it was.
It was the last match, yeah. It
The
really ended like that.
The tribal chief comes out, and Lexington loves Roman, or at least.
Oh wait.
Oh,
before we get there, Cameron Grimes, just real quick. Cameron Grimes had a segment where he gets attacked by Baron Corbin. There you go.
Hopefully, He's oh yeah, Jey Uso and Sami Zayn had a nice little moment too, where of course the whole night is built around the confrontation between Roman and Jay. And you see Roman or not Roman, Jay psyching himself out backstage, and then you just see Sammy sitting alone. He doesn't even say anything. He just kind of smiles at him and walks away.
Mm-hmm. And you hear the crowd chanting "Usi."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice moment.
So then Roman's music hits, and out he comes to a bunch of cheers or piped in cheers, one of the two.
I think those are real.
Probably he's pretty over. As much as I don't like him personally, he's over. Um, he asks Lexington to acknowledge him, and then almost immediately Jay comes out. Um, then Jay says it's either him or Heyman as far as being in the bloodline. And Roman's like, he's my wise man. When you're the tribal chief, you can have a wise man, and you can say who's in the bloodline and who's not. But I'm the tribal chief, and I need this wise man. Um, he said that he being Roman said that he was only supposed to get the bloodline to the promised land. Jay is supposed to keep them there. And it's bigger than, Paul Heyman being in the bloodline or not. So then Jimmy comes out and he says that Roman is using Jay. Roman and Heyman say that Jimmy was the only one who objected to Jay being the head of their excuse me. Roman and Heyman say that Jimmy was the only one that objected to Jay being the next tribal chief. Jay looks hurt, and he asks Jimmy, "Is that true?" Jimmy just confirms, "Yeah, it's true." Well, then Jay lists off his accomplishments. He said, I've been main eventing SmackDown. I've had title opportunities. I've had titles. When you got hurt, I stepped up." And he said, "You know what? You're out." And the crowd is dismayed. They're all just like shocked and booing, and they don't know what to do. Roman's laughing. Heyman's cheering. Probably playing with himself through his pockets. You know,
Rubbing his nipples.
well, when you got trousers on and you can kind of reach over and kind of
You can get it.
yeah, you can tickle it a little bit. And it's silky, so it feels it feels extra good. But then he says, "And I'm out too." And he super kicks Roman Reigns. And Solo is just standing there like a dumb fuck. Heyman, he starts to get out of the ring. And then finally, Solo, he tries to attack Jay. Jay ducks his clothesline. Jimmy super kicks Solo. Solo staggers. He's not quite down yet. And then both the Usos super kick Solo. And then Roman, he's kind of recovering. And then he looks at both the Usos and he starts shouting at them. And by this time, this is when Heyman's finally able to get out of the ring. And then as Roman's yelling at the Usos, they both super kick him and then walk out of the ring. And Solo just stares in rage.
And I will say the double super kick at the end there, Roman sold that
Oh yeah.
beautifully.
Yeah, it was good. It was all good. It's a good story. It's not wrestling, but it's a good story.
Yeah, I mean, every little detail about that segment was just done perfectly. Jey Uso yelling at his brother, turning on Roman, which I think was a mistake. Um, and the little thing, I like how Jay, and he always does this, but he's like, "Hey, hey, hey!"
Yeah.
So as he's running down Jim, he's like, "Hey, hey, hey, prom king, hey, hey, uh, what do you say, captain of the team?"
Yeah.
But yeah, I like when he does a little, "Hey, hey," and yeah, and then even down to Paul Heyman when they super kicked when they super kicked Roman. He's over in the corner. He's literally crying because they betrayed the tribal chief. Like how he cried on spot like that is just crazy enough. But yeah, he's over there literally crying.
Well, did you see when they were announcing Roman's when they were calling his name that Heyman was behind him just lip syncing
Yeah,
like a like a deranged fan?
yeah,
Yeah, he's so great.
yeah. It's about the little things.
Right.
But we have Jay Uso finally joining his brother again. I think that was a mistake. I thought Jay should have stayed with Roman at least for a few more months. I think the story would have been more. I mean, it's a great story, whichever way they're going with it. Obviously, they've done it right so far. So who am I to say it's wrong? But I think you keep Jay with the tribal chief. That just turns Jay even bigger into like a face when he turns on Roman. And then we already have set up for Money in the Bank Roman Reigns and Solo versus Jimmy and Jay Uso, and it's billed as the Bloodline Civil War.
And yeah, another tag match for Roman.
Another tag match for Roman, and then we'll probably, if I had a guess, we're probably going like Roman versus Jay at SummerSlam, or I don't know if it's gonna be a. I don't know if Jimmy gets a shot. I don't know why not, but I don't think he does gets a
Right.
shot. I think it's just goes straight to Jay.
Well, Jimmy's the one that pulled the trigger first. Maybe it'll be Jimmy first, then Jay.
Well, to me, it more seems like I don't know. Roman's more betrayed by Jay than he is Jimmy. Like he believed Jimmy was going to do it, but Jay, he was the right hand man. He was main event Jay. You know, he's always the one that's been under Roman's thumb. So maybe that's what gets him a title match over Jimmy. Or Roman's like, it's one of you. Which one is it? And then
Mm-hmm.
they choose Jimmy. Maybe yeah, maybe that's what he does to try to create a riff. One of you gets a title shot. Which one is it going to be? And then they are left to decide between each other who gets the title shot. Which who's going to be more selfless? No, you take it. Okay. Wait, what? No, you're supposed to say no, you take it.
Well, I could see Jimmy challenging and then losing, and then Jay doing a whole like kind of like blood sport. Like I gotta avenge my brother because maybe Roman beats Jimmy really bad.
And then we go. But I think as a match was, if you're putting it on at SummerSlam, I think Jay is a bigger match than Jimmy.
Eh, I think it's big either way.
I just think Jay is more over with the fans than Jimmy is. And it goes back to Jay being, main event Jay Uso when Jimmy got hurt. And that just like, and he's probably better on the mic, if I'm being honest. Maybe they're pretty close, but
I don't know.
well,
Jimmy
no,
was
they play off pretty. Both of them are pretty good on the mic.
Yeah, Jimmy
I
was
take
doing
that back.
pretty good.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I
We
think
shall see.
I think with this story you can kind of just interchange everybody. It doesn't really matter. It's about the destination, not who's taking us there.
Yeah. So we have the Civil War playing for Night of or for Money in the Bank. Who is where are they going to go after that? Is it remains to be seen. Um, I don't know. I mean, Roman and Solo just lost like the last pay per view, so I don't really see them losing two pay per views in a row. But on the other hand, if the Usos win, then that's kind of there's really no more story to be told. Like they got out and they won. That's it.
Well, I don't know. The story could be that the Usos and now Zayn and Owens are teaming up together to take out Roman.
They're finally coming for the Roman Empire.
Yeah, because now it's just Roman and Solo, so there's probably gonna be a lot more tag matches for him.
Well, I think we need to go back to singles matches.
I agree, but
But you got this other title that they're trying to get over as equally important. So let's not
yeah,
forget that. Oh, by the way, we didn't mention Roman Reigns has three belts. He
yeah,
still has the other two belts. We didn't
and
mention that, but
he I thought he just had them for display. No, he carries around 3 belts now.
yeah, when he came out for his entrance, Paul Heyman was holding the two older belts. He had the new belt on his waist, and he held it up. But the whole time, Heyman is still holding the other two belts. So
Right,
it's Roman three belts where we're at right here.
but the world heavyweight champion is just as important.
Yeah, who's defending it on NXT, by the way.
Defending it at strip clubs.
Yeah. Now, I do want to say, because I did think of this point. So, how everybody shits on Roman because he never defends the title, is what people say. Oh, it's easy to get 1,000 days when you never defend the title. Well, look what you get on the other side. Seth Rollins is defending the title every single second he can. And he's already watered that title down so much that it's beyond recognizable. Like the Intercontinental title is more valuable than that title right now.
The title was watered down the moment that they pulled the little curtain thingy off of it.
No, I'm saying they could have made it a big deal, but it's already so far down. But you got the people saying, "Oh, Roman never defends it," and people like me say, "Well, yes, he doesn't ever defend it because that's what makes it special." My point is, Seth Rollins gives you what you want from a champion to defend it every second of the day he can,
It's
and
like the hardcore title.
yeah, or the 24/7 title, except that he wins and it doesn't end in a roll up. But yeah, so you're getting it there, and that should show everybody why you shouldn't be defending the title every week, because now the title is like a joke. Like it doesn't feel special. He's supposed to be this title because it's the second most equally important title in the company. This title should be closing the show at Money in the Bank, but it's not going to. Roman Reigns is still going to be closing the show. So what are you doing here? And you know why Roman Reigns is closing the show?
Because
Because
he's the
they
champion.
no, because they care about viewership.
Well, that too.
They
He's
care about viewership. They care about ratings.
if you're on the website, he's listed as the universal undisputed universal champion. Now, if you just undisputed, That means that nobody can dispute it. He's the champion.
Yeah, when you're the reigning and defending undisputed, you can't be. Yeah, no one can
No,
tell you otherwise.
no matter how many fake belts you create and try to tell us that they're prestigious, especially when you're going to give everybody else a new belt immediately after.
Well, that's more so just getting the titles rebranded.
And
Or
that's
what did I
fine,
say?
but
Reskinned?
yeah, that's fine, but you're trying to make this one title a big deal, but you've already diluted it because you've had unveiling for 3 weeks in a row now.
Oh, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. That doesn't really take away from me because they were the women's titles.
Well,
My
Roman,
thing is it being defended. Like
Seth,
every time we turn around, it's being defended. That's my thing.
I get that. I'm with you there, but Seth got his belt. That was the new thing. That was the new big, this is the most prestigious belt. We're gonna build this belt up. It's gonna be just as important as Roman's. Then what happens? Next week, Roman gets a new belt. Roman gets a new gold belt. So that's the talk of the town. Nobody's talking about Seth's belt anymore. It's Roman's belt. Then what happens? Asuka gets a new belt. Maybe not as many people are talking about Asuka's belt, but they're talking about it. They're certainly not talking about Seth's new belt.
Yeah, they're talking about Charlotte on that one.
Yeah. Then what happens? Oh, Ripley gets a new belt. And the only thing that they're talking about Seth's belt is it looks like Ripley's belt. Or, Ripley's looks like Seth's belt.
Yeah, so her belt's at the bottom of the totem pole, apparently.
So I mean,
Unadvertised. It's a reskin.
so you've had all these championships being unveiled, but you right off the bat you told us that this one was supposed to be important. But you've diluted it with all this other shit. You should have waited. Should have
Well, how
waited.
long were they going to wait?
As long as it takes. Like, it's not like they have an off season. Either say it's important or it's not.
Well,
And then
mhm.
having it defended at house shows, which I don't mind that. I don't mind it being defended, but when you have it defended in house shows, and then this Raw and that Raw and NXT and blah 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 blah, yeah, that's a little bit overkill. I don't mind it getting defended on Raw every now and then. I'd say if it's defended once a month, that's good. It doesn't have to be every fucking day. You don't have to kip up out of bed and say, I'm going to defend this fucker.
Yeah. And by the way, he has a so Seth Rollins is weak. Open challenge coming up on Raw. Also of note, Logan Paul is going to be on Raw. Why is he going to be there? And why, coincidentally, is there an open challenge? I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Uh,
I'm
skip
just saying.
that shit. Skip the fuck out of that.
Just saying. Quite the coincidence that they're both having an open challenge, and Logan Paul is going to be there.
I
And
didn't even put those two together.
just something to point out there. So we go from that. Then he's going to NXT to defend against Braun Breaker. We're just talking about televised things.
Yeah. So I mean,
And then he's going to go defend it against Finn Balor.
and
So that's
Lord knows
three.
how many times he's going to defend it in between that. You might
Yeah,
defend it
that's
at the airport.
yeah. So we got 3 title defenses in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's just
That's more than one a week.
it's a little overkill.
Yeah.
But That is your week in wrestling.
That is your week. And it is hard for me to say my match of the week as I missed a lot of segments. Um, and a lot of the matches were like 2 minutes, so that's also kind of hard. So I guess I go with the gauntlet match.
Okay. Well, my professional wrestling segment of the week was a tie between the Indus Sher vignette and the Gunther beatdown of Matt Riddle.
All right, and what's your sports entertainment moment of the week?
Easily Bloodline.
Yep, Bloodline crumbles is pretty cut and dried there. We got some light news to go over. Very, very light news. As the stories, they weren't a lot of them this week, outside of one person. But the first thing I want to say is Hulk Hogan. He went on this Full Send podcast, and they were just asking him on the podcast. First of all, he goes on this podcast. The two guys know nothing about him, and they know nothing about wrestling. So that you can imagine what kind of interview. And there was even a point where Hogan says, "You guys don't know anything, do you?"
That's
But
good.
yeah,
That's always a good interview.
yeah. So they're asking him all this stuff about wrestling. So they're doing their best. I don't know the guys' names, whatever. They got like 2 million followers, but I don't know who they are.
Dip and shit.
Uh, they try to be funny. I bet we're funny here. Watch our podcast over their podcast. Is what I'm trying to tell you. I mean, maybe I'm about to go on a side rant. So yeah, they're interviewing Hogan, and they ask him about what the difference is from like yesteryear's wrestler from today's wrestler. And he went into this big thing about how it's just a different time. Like when back in the 70s and 80s when you're or 80s and 90s when you're a wrestler and someone called it fake, you had to like defend the business. So you're in a bar, you had to fight them.
It's true.
Um, and he was talking about how guys were so much bigger back in the day, and he said like
Some guys.
well he said like I'm 6'7", 260 pounds, and I was considered a small guy. I mean, I guess with Andre the Giant and stuff,
Yeah,
that's
that's
true.
true.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but he's talking about like how wrestlers were so much bigger back in the day, and then he said, um, nowadays they have to. There's no draws nowadays. That's what he said. Nobody's a draw nowadays. They're half the guys. They look like they should be bagging my groceries.
That's true. Especially AEW.
Well, yeah,
If you
eight.
if you
Um,
look, there's a lot of dudes that are barely taller than the ring post.
well, I mean, in WWE too,
Yeah, I'm
there's
I'm
a lot of
saying
those.
I'm saying in general, there's a lot of dudes that are just barely taller than the ring post. And this is supposed to be this is supposed to be like quote unquote fighting, wrestling. And you got all these like average Joe looking dudes trying to do it. And it's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be these larger than life people. It's supposed to be like the Undertakers and Hulk Hogan's and Cena's and Ultimate Warriors. Paul Orndorff.
Yeah, Barry Windham.
But nowadays, everybody it looks like they put on some gym shorts and a t shirt and start doing flippy flops.
Yeah. Now he did point out that people nowadays they can do things that he would never be able to do, like the flip flops. But he also said like another thing, and this was I'm glad he pointed this out because this is what I said. You know, back then they weren't playing characters. You go out you or no back then you created your own character, you created your own persona, and then you had to go out and get it over.
Yeah.
But nowadays they're just pulling people off the streets, handing them scripts and saying, hey, play this character. And that's a big difference.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what I was saying. Like I always mention like Rowdy Piper, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man. You never knew what like half their promos. You didn't know what they were talking about. But they were animated when they did it.
Well, I'm
Ultimate
sure
Warrior is like growling like a dog during his promo,
well, it was
or
also more
whatever
of a
the hell
pain in
that
the ass
was.
back then too, because like he had to negotiate with Piper to beat him. I think in WWE they had a draw. And
Well,
that's why it was such a big deal when he went to WCW, because Hogan wanted to get his win back.
yeah, he was also talking about how they had to protect their character
Yeah.
because if you lose, that's pretty much taking money out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Because now you lose, now you're not as big of a draw. So
The fans aren't
maybe
interested in you, therefore they're not spending money to see you.
yeah, so maybe now you go and instead of getting like $3,000 for an appearance, you get like $1,000 because now you're
S-
a loser
Still
carrying
$1,000.
cross.
Hey, he won.
Yeah, but you can't if you're 1 in 50. That doesn't do you any good.
So
But yeah, it's just interesting that he would point all that stuff out. It's not really caught wind to the internet community yet, so we are one of the first to talk about it. I'm sure they'll catch up next week after the CM Punk stuff blows over.
I think Dutch Mantel brought it up. I don't know what he said though. I didn't listen to that part.
Oh, I'm sure he I'm sure he agreed with it for the most part. I don't see how he wouldn't. Like I watched just a random side note here. I watched and it wasn't even like a whole match, but it was an entrance. Bill Goldberg walking out to the ring, and you got the security beating on the door. He like flings the door open. He's walking out. You got the crowd chanting Goldberg, and commentary. They're talking about this is how he beat you because he's so this whole thing intimidates you before the bell even rings. And he comes out, he's like jacked, looking like a man, hairy chest.
Rah, rah,
He goes and stands in the fireworks, and the fireworks are shooting at him, and they're covered.
slapping himself.
Yeah, he's and then the fireworks are hitting him so much to you can't even see him anymore. And he comes out and he's blowing out the smoke because the fireworks the fireworks just smoked him out. And then he's doing the punches like that's how you become a draw.
Well, that and he didn't say anything. He just came in, whooped ass, left.
Yeah. And then also you got the IWC, the internet community, they're like, oh, the only reason Goldberg was undefeated is because he couldn't wrestle. That's what a lot of people say. It's like, no, the reason Goldberg was undefeated was because of what I just watched. Because of how you felt when the gong of the drums started, when the
Right.
fireworks went off, when you
Yeah.
see him walking out with the security, and then you got people saying, oh, the security is not there to protect Goldberg from anybody. It's to protect you from Goldberg.
He was undefeated because the people liked him and he could play the character.
Yes, he was their answer to Stone Cold. And I would say I may have liked him more than Stone Cold because of what he was.
Well, then you're silly.
Just a well, I don't know. We can talk about that another day. We're going to go on a whole nother hour about that.
Well, if you agree with everything we say.
Go ahead.
No, you do it better.
If you agree with anything, let us know in the comments below. If you disagree with anything, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit us up on Spotify if that's your thing. And is there anything else?
Just have a good night.
And until then, Top Guys out.